But anyway, right,
Cool.
Let's get started then, because we're limited on time. I've only got about an hour to an hour and a half max on this.
Okay, cool. So
right, so first things first, I am going to, in fact, let me screen share so this works with you. How do I screen share? I always forget how to do this.
I may not be able to read anything that you screen share because I'm still using the phone at the moment.
Well, it's not so much a file. It's yeah, there we go. Right, so
The sounders.
when you're ready, 3, 2, 1. I hope that's coming through.
No, it's not.
No.
I'm not hearing.
Oh, I'm dancing like an idiot. But not.
Yeah. Why
Hold
have
on,
you
hold
had
on,
it all a
let's-
lifetime?
Well, there you go. There's the opening intro.
There's our pre-credits. Yep. Why isn't
Dead
that-
air, and
yeah.
you just be like, I hope that's
I'll
going
just
through.
Mike. No, stop. Right. Okay. Let's try that again then.
Everything's amazing. Parachute pants.
Ooh, kooky Victorian adventures.
Dr. Doolittle, he talks to the animals. I love Jodie. Fucking Jodie Comer.
They came like a bolt out of the blue to discuss everything in geekdom.
We'll do it live.
So,
Fuck it.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the attack of the 50-foot nerds.
hello and hello and welcome to the Attack of the 50-Foot Nerds podcast. My name is Mike Bell, and joining me once again into this randomness that we call geekdom and nerddom is on my bottom right today, bottom left, bottom right, whatever you are.
Wherever I am, it's me, Amara, new girl.
Okay, and off to my right, camera left. whatever.
It's me, Paul, but we're still only an audio podcast, so why are you describing where we are on screen?
Because we're
to people?
recording it through StreamYard these days, so it's just
So
it's easier for me to
does-
figure it out.
That's not going to mean shit to anybody who's actually listening to this.
He's painting a picture. It's a feast for all the senses.
Exactly.
Ooh,
And that voice would be
was that a new
unfamiliar.
voice?
Yeah, that is
Do
a
we
new
now
voice.
have a-
So
Do we now have a birthday Mike as well as a birthday Paul?
perhaps. Well, I'd like to introduce you all to the guy who I was about to say the guy I'm on top of right now, but that doesn't really sound right. Let's just call him the guy underneath me. Mystery
It's
Man,
getting
introduce
worse.
yourself.
I'm Josh from Movie Timeline, the channel Movie Timelines on YouTube.
Yes, indeed. I've been a fan of Josh's for a while now. I discovered his channel just over a year ago when I started working from home. Because let's face it, there's nothing better to do while you're working than watch YouTube. And I discovered a
Yeah.
channel that was, I think it was 13 unanswered questions about Friday the 13th was the
Yeah.
first video that I found, and consumed all of Josh's content within a matter of days. And just fairly recently, I've been able to have enough spare cash to join Josh's Patreon, and I haven't looked back since. It's been a blast. The community that Josh has got over there, all the guys, it's great, and I enjoy being part of that. So I figured, why not ask Josh to jump on an episode, and he's gracefully deemed us with his presence today. So welcome, Josh.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on. I'm glad I had I have a little bit of time to squeeze in here for this today.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
Subscribe. There we go.
There you go. There we go. Got you another one. So, so what we're going to do today is, even though Josh's channel is mainly focused on horror, he does cover other things such as action, comedy, sci-fi. That's the other one. Superheroes. Yes. So,
We'll have to
he
get
mainly-
you on to talk about Kill Keith.
I don't think that's a movie that Josh would know, because it's a movie about a British TV personality that you probably don't really know over there. He's mostly famous for doing a TV show entirely naked.
Okay.
He's now
So-
dead.
Jaggers plays dead.
Which,
That's
yeah,
right.
which actually makes the title more ironic.
Well, yeah, he's dead now. Yeah, is he dead? So yes, so we're but
Graveyard dead.
So what we're going to do is, Josh, if it's okay, I have spoken to you about this previously, but I'd like to get you on properly in the future to discuss the channel in more depth and more to talk about more horror and what have you. But for now, because the show's been away for a while, we've been going back over. On the last episode, we covered movies from 2018 to 2019 that we hadn't spoken about. Now we're going to be going over the lack of movies that came out in 2020 and whatever else came out this year up to date. So we're going to be, I've got a list here. We're going to try and just blast through them all as quick as we can. If we've seen them, we're going to talk about them. And if we haven't, then they just get binned off to the side. Is that okay?
There you go. All right.
Are we going to start with the one that we missed from 2019 then?
No, I'm going to do that last, if that's okay.
That's fine.
That's fair, yeah.
So,
A bit of anticipation there for the audience.
Indeed, indeed. So, first up, we're going to start 2020 with The Grudge. I don't know whether to call it a remake or another installment in the franchise. Josh would be better placed to decide whether or not we're fitting the timeline with that, I guess. But did any of you guys see The Grudge?
I did.
You know, I'm a fan of the franchise in that I really love the original Japanese TV movies and cinematic movies, and I saw the Sarah Michelle Gellar American remake, but I never sort of went beyond that to Grudge 2 or Grudge 3 or indeed The Grudge. So, you know, it's one of those franchises that...
I thought you were going to call it The Grudgeoning.
The Grudgeoning, yeah. What is it about these sequels stroke remakes where they're choosing to just call it exactly? It's like the new sequel to that Halloween was Halloween. The new sequel to Scream is Scream. This isn't confusing in the slightest. So
it's
The
brand
Grudge
recognition, essentially.
The Grudge.
It's brand recognition. It's people who have heard the name, they may not have seen, you know, however many movies that came before, and they think, I could just jump in here, and it's a nice starting off block for them. They can always go back and check the other ones if need be.
At least this time, there's like in those cases, you've got like there's been other movies in between it. It's not like it's not like Suicide Squad being followed by The Suicide Squad.
that I can live with.
We'll get to that
because they at least put the in it.
Yes,
and we're going to get to that.
Yeah, when it becomes confusing,
the next sequel is going to be called It's the Suicide Squad.
And then watch out!
What is
the
this?
Suicide
Monty Python's Suicide Squad. It's.
I will say that was the interesting thing about this Grudge movie was the fact that they kind of played it up as being a remake, but then when it was released and you saw it, it was then no, it actually is in the same universe as the original.
Is it? Oh,
yeah,
that is interesting.
It follows the same format but moves everything from Japan over to the States. So technically, it's the first American Grudge movie, if you want to think about it that way. So, which is I can understand that's why they called it The Grudge. But yeah, it's okay. It wasn't great. There's a decent bit with John Cho. That's the only bit I remember about the movie.
I was going to say I can see the cast list here, and it's like John Cho. Well, that's a good thing. So,
not in it very long though.
Yeah, no one's in it very long. It's a dreadfully dull film.
Yeah,
dreadfully dull.
So
it's one of those movies that I forgot I'd seen until I was writing this list.
So you know, kind of avoid.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like if you end up watching it, you'll be like angry at it because it's just such a nothing of a movie.
Exactly.
It's one of those movies that when you're done watching it, it doesn't even matter that you watched it.
Yeah, I know that feeling. That, like, weirdly, and this is a very bizarre comparison, that description is very much what me and Mike described 50 Shades of Grey being.
Don't speak to me about those movies. There's a timeline for you.
Yeah, we because we did the Christmas commentary and we got so bored we started talking about things that weren't the movie, which it was the first commentary we'd ever done that on. Like every other one, we could at least.
I've already picked out a commentary that we're doing for Christmas this year, and Josh, it's that movie you showed us a few minutes of the other week. I'm not going to say what title it is, but it's that one with the dog in.
Yeah, you need to arrange a time that.
We're gonna watch that for Christmas.
Oh, you watching it too?
What a gift to the world that is.
Oh,
that is just a gift.
I've literally not watched any more than you showed us because I want.
Is it the live action Clifford the Big Red Dog?
No, I wish it was, mate. Trust me. When I tell you guys what movie this is, you're gonna be like, what?
I will not spoil it, but I will tell you that it is a magical movie that you will not believe exists.
Yes. We're going to move on to the next film on the list.
To be something that I'm like, oh yeah, I've watched this. And that's one of the only fucking movies I watched in the past 3 years or whatever.
The next movie I've got on the list is Underwater with Kristen Stewart. Any of you see that?
Yeah.
I'm not even sure I've heard of it.
It's actually a fairly solid flick.
Is that the one? Is that
a lot
the
of
one
tension.
Didn't she direct something? Or am I
she
getting
didn't direct
confused?
this. If she directed this, then there's more skill in her than I thought. But no, there's no way she directed this.
This movie's basically Alien underwater, but it's done well. It's done well. Okay,
I might have to watch that just from that description.
Yeah, it has an interesting setup in the fact that it's like you get the opening credits and then
it just starts
within 30 seconds. Yeah. It's an action sequence and then it's just the movie's going. There's no setup of a bunch of characters. There's no establishment. All that stuff comes later on. But it's just kind of like, all right, we're off, and then it just doesn't stop from that point on. And it's pretty cool. It's a good movie. It's enjoyable.
I mean,
it seems to have
I may have to watch.
I was going to say it seems to have a reasonable cast to it. I mean, Jessica Henwick. I know
she's the only person you're going to care about in this movie. Everyone else is just there to get picked off one by one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next up, I've got Bad Boys for Life, which I don't particularly care for the Bad Boys franchise as it is. But did any of you see it?
Not I.
Nope.
No. Action movies are not my world.
No, I'm still here.
Well, and Amara seems so frozen now, so I don't know what's going on. Oh, well, it's technology for you. We used to do this over Skype, and I figured, now we're in the post-pandemic age. Let's go to StreamYard, and yeah, we have problems. Next up, I've got Robert Downey Jr.'s Dr. Dolittle movie. Again, one that I didn't see. Not one I particularly care to. Judging by the reviews, I'm really not missing anything.
All I ever think of when I think of Dr. Dolittle is Harry Enfield looking at an animal and going, bollocks!
Okay.
Do you not remember that?
That reference is slightly lost on me at the moment. We seem to have lost Amara.
If you don't remember, he used to do a sketch where he'd dress up as Dr. Dolittle. The sketch would start, you'd get the theme tune, which was something like, Dr. Dolittle, he talks to the animals. And then all he would do is go up to an animal and say bollocks at it. And that was it, every week. So 30-second piece in his sketch show.
Next one I've got on the list is the last movie that I saw at the cinema before everything went to shit, which was Birds of Prey.
You know, took me until this year to see that.
I still haven't.
It tried to do something different, and I applaud it for that. But I don't know, just something about it just doesn't grip me in as much as like the original Suicide Squad. I've watched that a bunch of times. Not a great movie, but it's enjoyable. Birds of Prey, I've only seen once, and I don't particularly have any inclination to watch it again.
I can tell you what it is about Birds of Prey is it's every ounce of that movie is just trying too hard. It's like they're trying to make a formula, and they're trying to imitate sort of a Marvel movie in a way, but like kind of do something a little bit different. But you can kind of tell that the people that are making it are just formula people. So it just feels like they're forcing like quirks. Like nothing in it felt genuine to me. It's one of the most hollow movies I'd seen all of last year.
Well, there you go. Couldn't really said better than that. Next up, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Hey, I watched that.
It was fun.
Yeah, it was.
I'm glad they changed that design.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I watched the trailer. That's all I can say.
You're not seeing it. Do you know what? You need to see it, if nothing else, but for Jim Carrey's performance. He holds that movie up. He really does. Don't get me wrong. I like James Marsden, but he's done a lot better work than this. This is just a paycheck for James Marsden. But yeah, Jim Carrey, he just totally steals that entire performance. And once you see the end of that movie, it makes you want to see the sequel, especially for what Jim Carrey goes through. And I'm really looking forward to see the sequel.
Yeah, same. Like,
This would be the sequel with Idris Elba as Knuckles.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Cedric Elbow.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting it, but that's because like I always associate Knuckles as being voiced by Travis Willingham because he did the voice in the Sonic Boom.
Well, you can't really,
and because
you can't really expect them to keep voice actors from one project to another. Although if Last of Us can get motion capture actors to go onto the actual TV show, then the whole world's wide open now, I guess.
Which again would be another Critical Role cast member, so I'd be happy either way.
Next up, I've got Blumhouse's reboot of Fantasy Island.
I enjoyed this.
I enjoyed this as much as it was terrible. I really enjoyed this.
It's terrible, but it is entertaining. It's.
I mean, let's face it. The casting just sells it for me because if you're going to replace Ricardo Montalban with anybody these days, it's obviously going to be Michael Pena.
Exactly.
It's funny because I will actually point out, because we talked about this on one of the Dead Last episodes, and it was on like the horror of 2020 list. But I will say that the one big bright side of Fantasy Island that I thought was interesting was I felt as if it was one of the most positive portrayals of a gay character in almost all of horror. It was actually cool. Very well done, and I was like, oh, cool. It was no jokes about it. No, like it wasn't like a plot point hung on it. Nobody made fun. It was just very well handled and very realistically done. And I was just like, that's cool.
You mean the fact that they went, oh, this is a character, by the way, he's gay, rather than going,
yep.
Oh, rather than
his entire character is that he's gay. Yes, instead of that, this is here's a character in a movie
who happens to be gay, as opposed to his character is that he's gay.
Yeah, because normally you either get the you get the his character is that he's gay, or you get the opposite where you don't realize he's gay, but then like I think it was Alien Covenant or something like that. Something came out where two of the male characters have wedding rings on, and the audience was supposed to put together by the fact that they both had wedding rings on that they were a gay couple, but it doesn't get mentioned in the film at all. And it's like, that's not representation. That's just you easy.
Well, that's them kind of pushing it into the background as well, though. So it's kind of representation in a way. But
exactly.
I haven't seen it as yet, but I saw the trailer for the Candyman reboot. And there's the guy from Misfits, the UK show. I've seen him in the trailer, and I don't even need to see the movie to know that his character he's the gay one, because he's so camp and effeminate in the trailer, and it's just like, oh, okay, so that's what they're doing with that character then. But I mean, I can't say anything else. I haven't seen the movie, so I don't know if there's anything else to him. But I mean, there was,
I've actually heard very good things about it, so I'm looking.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure, like it's the team that I've seen behind it have been pretty intersectional with their stuff. So I would hope that it would have a positive representation, but we'll see.
We'll see. I'll let you know when I get around to it. Okay, next up, I've got The Boy 2, Brahms.
I have also seen that.
I only saw it pure.
I've seen a lot of these because we did a Dead Last episode of the horror movies of 2020, so I hadn't watched a lot of these specifically for that episode. So I did watch.
Yeah, I hated The Boy 1. The Boy 2 was somehow worse.
Yeah, at least the first Boy had that hook at the end.
That twist, yeah. Whereas this was just like, oh, spooky doll, because Annabelle.
Yep, pretty much.
I'll be honest. When I was looking through the list, I saw this, and at first I misread it and thought it was a really weird sequel to The Boys.
Oh, yeah.
And I was so confused.
Well, next up, I've got the Impractical Jokers movie, which I'm ashamed to say I haven't seen yet.
Neither have I.
Given how we met Amara.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, me and Amara met at Q from Impractical Jokers was doing basically like a stand-up show, over in the UK, and we went, and I was working on the merch stand, and me and Amara got to talking, and this whole podcast is born from there.
Nice.
Yes.
So,
and I ended up doing the theme song for that, the podcast version of that show.
Yeah.
That is. I'll be honest. Like I couldn't. I was going to make a joke about how I couldn't watch it because I was too busy watching Fat Towing, but I realised that only you would get that.
Yeah, no one's going to get that.
No one's going to understand.
Okay, well, in that case, I will move on to The Invisible Man. Yet another Blumhouse movie on our list here. It was very much a victim of the pandemic, but I really like this movie. I wish I'd been able to see it on the big screen.
I have heard lots of good things about it, and I rate Elizabeth Moss.
It's
because of Handmaid's Tale, obviously.
The guy knows how to do horror. It's as simple as
that. Was this like originally like? Am I just making shit up that this originally was going to be like when they originally were talking about redoing The Invisible Man? It was supposed to be Dark Universe. Yeah.
Okay. And then
I thought that was.
And then because
the
movie
went.
Seeing as Universal can't make monster movies, we'll do it instead. And now apparently Blumhouse are going to be doing a Frankenstein movie, I believe, and a Wolfman movie with the guy from Drive. I'm totally blanking on his name.
Gosling.
Oh, Gosling, that's it. Yeah, he's supposed to be doing but Invisible Man, again, Lee Whannell for me can do no wrong. I've loved pretty much every single movie he's done. And, it's great.
I'm in that weird angle of I did enjoy The Invisible Man, but I don't think I liked it as much as everybody else did. I liked it. I thought it was actually good. Very enjoyable movie. And compared to a bunch of the other movies that came out around that time, it was probably better than those. But it's not something I would like watch and rewatch. You know, it was.
I think the restaurant scene is one of the best scenes in a movie I've seen for a long time, because that shock just comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, but I will also admit that the restaurant scene makes very little sense, because how does being invisible allow you to just swipe that and slide it into it's kind of an unusual sleight of hand maneuver, but very funny. I do it. I mean,
it's like how does he stay in that prison cell for hours on end without needing to go to the toilet or anything?
I know. I do apologize also that it being 2:00, I do have to peace out.
Right, okay.
But
sorry, I forgot what time it was over there.
Yeah, I was like 2:00. It's not, and then I forgot.
We just discussed this before, and I thought that was 11 p.m. over here for some reason. But I forgot
time zones.
Our clocks changed and what have you. So I'll let you go, Josh. But say hi to everyone for us, and I'll see you all soon.
Thanks, guys. Talk to you later.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.
So that's just a little sneak peek of what you can expect for Josh when he comes onto the show in the future for a more prominent role. Right, okay, we're going to move on then to Onward, in fact. The Pixar movie that really hit you in the feels. My God, what a film.
I have been this is one of the ones that I haven't watched yet. I keep meaning to. And I'll be honest, quite a lot of it is because of the one character that's got the metal battle jacket with all the D&D patches on it.
That's Chris the main Pratt. Thing. Chris Pratt, who's also Mario and Garfield and everything else.
Of course it's fucking Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, king of animation.
King of animation, goer of a homophobic church.
Allegedly.
We'll just focus on his movie career, shall we?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I enjoyed it. It was great, as guys who like D&D and all that kind of stuff, and obviously animation and what have you. And it's a nice movie. And anyone who's ever lost anyone and didn't really get to have time with them, this is gonna, just that one extra minute more if you could ever have with them. This is the movie for you.
Other reason why I haven't watched it yet.
You're gonna cry. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna cry. Hell, I almost cried.
I was I'm getting the same vibes from this as A Monster Calls, and I was in fucking bits after that film.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah. Next up, we've got Bloodshot with Vin Diesel. Just appeared on Netflix. Haven't watched it yet.
No.
Just seems like a vanity project, if you ask me.
Mm-hmm. Is it based
No,
on a
not seen
comic
it.
book, or am I?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes.
It's a Valiant book.
I was going to say, I thought it was one of the like one of the 90s kind of.
Rob Liefeld, patches everywhere
Rob-
kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was one of the ones that recently got, like that and something else got recently rebooted into something that was comic-wise that was halfway decent, if I remember the reviews. But I haven't properly read them either.
No, I never read those books when I was going into like fantasy world in Stoke for my weekly or the Time Tunneling Crew. That those were my two comic book stores of the 90s, and they were always there on the wall. So it's like that and Solar and Man of War XO and stuff like that.
That's the other one that I was thinking of.
If it wasn't DC, Marvel, or Dark Horse, then I really didn't give a fuck. So
there it is. Next up, this is one I wish Josh was still here for, because I could talk about this film all day, and I don't think you have probably seen it. Vivarium with Jesse Eisenberg.
No, I haven't.
Not seen it.
What is it about?
I enjoyed this movie.
It sounds familiar.
Jesse Eisenberg and I believe it's Imogen Poots are a couple who are looking to buy a house. So they go to this estate agent, and the guy in there is quite weird and creepy, and he's just
a lizard.
No, well, and he's like, I will show you around. It is a brand new build neighborhood. You will love it. So they drive with him to this council estate, essentially in the middle of nowhere. There's no other cars around. All the houses are identical. He takes them in the house. And he's like, isn't it lovely? And he walks out the door, and then he's gone, and they're just stuck. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, we'll see if we can drive home. And they're driving around the neighborhood, and they can't find a way out. They're stuck on this estate, and they keep ending up back at the house. And then once they get back to the house, there's a box out the front of the house, and they open the box, and there's a baby inside, and it just says, "Raise this, and we'll let you go." Basically, so they're just trapped in this house, doing the same thing every day, day in, day out, just having to raise this baby that isn't theirs, that they have no connection to, and they despise because it's the reason why they're trapped there, and they're slowly basically losing it with this kid who's growing up faster than he should be. They've only been there a matter of weeks, and the kid's like 7-8 years old. And oh god, I don't want to tell you anymore because I enjoyed this movie so much. I keep just finding myself thinking about it.
Why do I get the impression that whoever came up with that plot and wrote the script had a very bad and unexpected experience of parenthood?
You never know.
The
I
beginning
really
premise of like trying to escape and then always ending up on the thing very much sounds like a one of my favorite Magnus Archives podcast episodes as well, which immediately, like when you were describing that, made me go, ooh. So that's definitely one I'm going to put on my list. I think
I saw that movie probably. I've seen this movie probably about 6 months to a year ago now, and I still keep finding myself thinking about it. It's that good.
Yeah,
loved it. Next up, to take it down to something a bit more mainstream, Scoob.
Again, that's another one that I've been meaning to watch and I haven't.
Same. Thing is, because we've got a dog, Rog, I can't watch. There's a callback. I can't watch movies with dogs in because he just barks at the screen.
A dog.
Wow. I can't watch movies with dogs because he just barks at them. Like, literally, we were watching Halloween the other week, and there's a dog barking at Michael Myers, so our dog starts barking at the screen, and then their dog gets killed. And my dog's like, huh?
Oh,
what
shit.
Why did that dog go silent? What's happening? Man, bring the dog back. I want to bark at him. And because that's how my dog talks.
Oh, is that your dog's voice?
That's how my dog talks to me. Yeah.
That's
like, me, Mum. Tell the man to bring the dog back. Bark, bark. That's my badge.
Yeah.
But yeah, not seen it. I probably will at some point, just whenever I get a chance.
I remember watching the trailer and thinking, now there's some good concept here in A, rebooting Scooby-Doo, and B, it's sort of bringing it more into a kind of Hanna-Barbera verse.
Hanna-Barbera, sorry, yeah, Hanna-Barbera, the movie. Yeah, because you've got Dick Dastardly, you've got the Blue Falcon, you've Captain Caveman. Yeah, they're all there.
Yeah,
it's just I haven't seen
it. It looks interesting.
I haven't seen Scoob, but thinking about it, I have seen those characters in a movie that might come up in the list later.
It will come up on the list later.
Yes.
Okay. In fact, no, we'll leave that. Moving on, Eurovision Song Contest, the movie on Netflix.
Why is that a
anyone
thing?
see this?
No.
No.
Yeah,
I
Ferrell.
did think it was the sort of thing that Kath would end up watching, and she that was a hard pass.
Will Ferrell and Rachel McAdams as this little two-piece bit part kind of band from like Finland or Norway or Iceland, one of those Scandinavian, and they end up qualifying for the Eurovision Song Contest. And it's basically My Lovely Horse, the movie. It's
Will Ferrell remaking his earlier hits, but with Eurovision instead of ice skating.
It's really fun. I didn't think it'd be any good, but it's really good. And you'll come away singing Ya Ya Ding Dong or like for the rest of the night. That won't make any sense, but if you haven't seen it. But one of the things that I enjoyed is because they made it when Eurovision was kind of like not on hiatus and such, but they couldn't really do it in 2020. And then when they were able to do it, it wasn't like the full song contest, but they did still have the scoring, and they have the spokesman for each country doing the points. So like for Finland or whichever country it is that's in the movie, they got one of the guys who's in a small part in that movie to be the spokesman for the jury for this. And he's just like, okay, so that's Finland, cool. Who do you give your 10 points to? We give it to Ya Ya Ding Dong. Play Ya Ya Ding Dong. They're like, Ya Ya Ding Dong wasn't in the contest. Play Ya Ya Ding Dong. So they kind of bled over into real life there. Next up, speaking of songs from movies with songs, Hamilton on Disney Plus, the movie that should have been a movie but wasn't. It was on Disney Plus. I enjoyed this. I like Hamilton. I listen to the soundtrack regularly when I'm writing because it's one of those movies that's got into. Well, I say movie, it's a musical. Let's face it. It's one of those musicals that I will listen to that soundtrack while I'm writing because it just gets me into a certain mindset. Same as like I wrote the Blu-rays movie. There is a Blu-rays movie that is written. That is something for the pod. Yes, and that was written basically listening to the School of Rock musical over and over and over and over and over.
I've heard little bits of Hamilton. The most exposure I've had to it is Daveed Diggs, who's one of the main characters, is the frontman of the band Clipping that I'm a fan of.
He's the lead in the Snowpiercer TV show.
Not seen it yet.
There's because Hamilton is so big, a load of singing Critical Role fans recreated the entire Hamilton thing and wrote it about one of the art of one of the first campaign of Critical Role. And I've seen Jack's films. I saw Jack's films do a parody of the 10 Dual Commandments, where all of the commandments involve giving your opponent a kiss.
Fair enough. Right, okay. Next movie I've got on the list is Spree on Netflix, starring the guy who plays Steve on Stranger Things. He's also in the Free Guy movie, I believe, which we'll get to.
Steve!
I enjoyed this. This was kind of like a found footage, kind of live streaming effect movie with a guy driving an Uber who wants to be internet famous, can't get internet famous, so decides to make himself internet famous by killing everyone he comes across that night.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that's the kind of world we live in where that's a movie now. And the sad fact is, we've seen people killed on live stream in real life.
Yeah.
So not that far removed from reality when
that gives me
gives me it hits hard vibes. This movie. I enjoyed it though because I could just watch this kid in anything. I think he's great. But good movie, definitely worth checking out if you've not seen it. Next up, a movie I haven't actually got round to seeing yet is Tenet.
Now, so that was my first trip to the cinema in about 8 months, and it was that was kind of a big deal because I did go
Nolan doing Nolan
see something else at the cinema prior to that because I actually went and saw Empire Strikes Back with Joshua, at the Bromborough Odeon, and it was like us and 2 other people in the screening, so yeah, massively socially distant, and that was well worth doing. But going and seeing Tenet, so me, Kath, and Joshua went and saw that, and that was like our first new movie at the cinema for the whole of 2020, and I really rated it. There's lots of people who seem to have complained about it being confusing or too loud, and they couldn't hear people, it may
just be the sound mixing where you're watching it, though, because a lot of cinemas don't really
I had no problem with the sound mixing. I got the story, I got the concept straight off. It's like, oh, so it's not just the title that's what's the word I'm looking for? Not palindrome.
Yeah, palindrome.
Yeah, palindrome.
Where they can be read forwards and backwards. Yeah.
What is how ironic is it that palindrome is not a palindrome?
I know. How is it that anagram can't be read upwards, backwards, and side to side?
Yeah, but basically, Tenet as a story is a palindrome. The whole thing goes backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards, and it's not that difficult to follow. They hold your hand the whole time. It's Nolan doing what Nolan's done. Nolan's done space. He's done mind, and now he's done time. So what's he gonna do next?
Bond.
Nuclear bombs, apparently.
Well, yeah, that's
he's doing the Oppenheimer biopic, right, isn't he?
Yeah. He's become destroyer of worlds, creator of worlds. Hello. So
the opposite. The only things I've seen of Tenet is people saying that it was rubbish, unfortunately. And
it's not.
The description that you gave of it, like being back and forth, just reminded me of a Wu-Tang Clan song. So thank you.
Gravel pit.
Yes.
Right. The next movie is Bill and Ted Face the Music.
I've got it on the Skybox, and I still need to get round to watching it.
How have you not watched that movie yet? It's good fun.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, it's basically just Bill and Ted chasing themselves through time and keep messing things up for themselves.
Which is exactly what Bill and Ted are supposed to be doing.
Well, yeah. And nice little homage to Rufus. Bringing his daughter in and naming Rufus's daughter Kelly, which was George Carlin's daughter in real life. That's her name.
Cool.
So good film. Really, definitely worth checking out. And it's it's always fun.
Excellent.
Who would have thought that Keanu Reeves could still do the "whoa, dude" at this age?
Of course he could.
That's what he does.
Of course he could.
It's either "whoa, dude" or "I'm intense. I'm gonna kick your ass." Yeah. That's the two phases.
And then later this year, we're finally going to see whether he can still do "I know kung fu."
Well, yeah, that's that mixture of "whoa" and "I'm gonna kick your ass." That's the ultimate combination of Keanu.
Yeah.
Right, the New Mutants, the movie that was a big lead up to nothing, really.
Again, I've got it on the Skybox, and I still need to get round to watching it. Yeah.
It sat on the shelf for years and was built up and built up and built up, and then fell flat on its ass. They never did the reshoots that would have introduced X-23 into this continuity. Never introduced Mr. Sinister as it was supposed to, and it was just a bit cack. Don't get me wrong, Anya Taylor-Joy as Magic, fantastic. Give me more of her in any movie any day. Stick her in a rebooted X-Men in the Marvel Universe. I'll watch her in anything. I think she's great. Right. But if it weren't for her, this movie would have nothing at all. And Maisie Williams is in this movie, and she does nothing.
I was going to say, how did Maisie do as a werewolf?
She put as much effort into it as she did in the Doctor Who role, as in nothing.
Oh, that's a shame.
She's in Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in 2 episodes.
Did I?
No, 3. I do apologise. I caught myself there. Next up, we've got Mulan, the live-action Mulan. Didn't see it. It's on Disney Plus.
Yeah,
I saw the because again, horses, and my dog doesn't like horses.
And
They're big dogs.
That was one where during the first build-up, I was curious because I was like,
"What the hell? Where am I? I should be in this movie."
Yeah, it was like, oh, this is closer to the original Chinese mythology. That will be interesting. and then it was like, oh, by the way, all the actors are absolutely okay with China owning concentration camps. I'm like, okay, no, fuck this. So
it's basically Disney doing Crouching Tiger, rather than having comedy dragons and things like that. So
like I said, it would have been interesting to see that original Chinese mythology. It was just some of the shit surrounding it that made me think, you know what, I'm going to give this a miss. And then people saw it and just went, eh. So
one of these days, I am going to start at the beginning with the main Disney animated. So I'll go back to Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I'm going to watch them all. There are so many Disney movies that I have never seen. The original Mulan, the original Lion King.
Have you not seen the original Mulan?
No. Hold on. How do you get to 73 years of age and never see the original Lion King?
I saw The Rescuers when I was a kid. That was one.
You saw The Rescuers, but you didn't see The Lion King.
Yeah. Well, bear in mind when The Lion King came out, I was not the Lion King age. I was not Disney princess age.
I just realised that film came out in '95, and I think it
came out before '95. It was like '93, '94. Lion King, because I was still in primary school when I saw that.
Was it? Which one was '95? Which one am I thinking of then?
I don't know. Do I look like Walt Disney? I would say Lion King's like 92, 91, 92, because it's right at the early second renaissance of Disney. You've got like Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, Lion King.
94 it came out.
So I was 94. At university. I wasn't going to go and watch. I was going down the SU bar and drinking my student loan away. I wasn't going to go and watch a fucking Disney movie, was I?
I don't know. What you get up to in the day?
Okay. Aladdin was 92.
Oh, okay.
That's not seen that. So.
My God! Get out!
There is a podcast.
Ban from the podcast.
There is a podcast or a blog here of me starting at the beginning and working my way through the Disney hits and misses, and maybe double banking with the live action remakes when I get to them or something like that. But there's definitely a project there.
There we go. That's what we're going to call it. We're going to call it Paul Touches His Inner Child.
Yeah.
Because the movies are touching and you're discovering your inner child.
Yeah, let's not go there.
How did we kill off Andy and chop up his body and stick it in the attic? It's in the
shower fridge.
Yeah, and say it's in the shower fridge. How did we shower fridge Andy while still thinking he's not seen movies, while Paul's not seen some of the most integral Disney movies of all fucking time? What the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but at least I watch movies.
I'm going to change the Christmas commentary to friggin' Lion King.
Movies. At least, Did Andy ever watch Apocalypse Now?
No, he watched Apocalypse then. Right. let's watch Borat 2.
Do we have to?
Movie film. Did you not like it? I enjoyed it.
I've never really been a fan of Borat.
I've never, to be fair, never watched the original, but then it's not one I would go out of my way to watch anyway. Sacha Baron Cohen in small doses I can handle. Borat.
90 minutes. How long do you want?
Yeah, no, Borat as a sketch character I can live with. Borat for 90 minutes.
This movie isn't even really about Borat. It's more about his daughter.
Right.
Yeah, we've done a Borat movie. We've had that one.
Yeah.
We've had a whole TV series about Borat. This is about his daughter, and yes, obviously he's in it. He is the draw character, but it's more about her and her journey across America and Rudy Giuliani taking off his pants. But nothing happened, and he didn't mean it that way.
Of course he didn't.
Yeah. But definitely I'd give it a go, and fair play to Sacha Baron Cohen, whatever you want to think of him. The guy spent 2 weeks living with hillbillies who didn't believe in COVID. So, the guy was scared for his life. He had to go into quarantine with these 2 hillbillies in character the entire time for 2 weeks. And that's in the movie for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The guy had to wear bulletproof vest in some scenes because he thought people were going to shoot him.
Yep.
It's crazy. Speaking of crazy, Freaky. It's the Freaky Friday movie.
Freaky Friday remade as a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really should watch this because I did like the trailer. I like the whole concept.
Yeah, it's by the same guy who made Happy Death Day, which is, Groundhog Day with a slasher.
Yeah.
So, this guy's just thinking, what can I put a serial killer in? And making movies, and fair play, he's making money. So,
fair enough.
It was okay. Vince Vaughn in a slasher movie that wasn't Psycho was nice. And Vince Vaughn, who knew that Vince Vaughn could play a convincing teenage girl? It's okay. Wonder Woman 84, still not got around to seeing it.
That was other new movie I saw at the cinema in 2020, and you know what? I if you can get past the whole slightly quantum leapy, was she actually raping that guy who's got Steve Trevor inside him? If you can kind of put that to one side and just deal with it as a sort of, she gets him back, and if you can get past that, then it's great. And Steve's sort of fish out of water, coming to the future, everything's amazing, parachute pants and all that shit. There's a lot to be said for it. There's a lot of really charming stuff, and it's good fun.
I haven't watched the film. I've seen the Nostalgia Critic review of it.
So you won't be seeing the film then?
But I probably will at some point. But I do think the idea that oh God, what was his name that came back?
Steve Trevor.
Oh,
Steve Trevor. That was it.
Chris Pine's character.
Chris Pine.
No, it was
one of the Chris
as Steve Trevor.
The fact that he was amazing. Hey, look, a dustbin was a bit weird. Like.
Yeah.
But
well, I'm just worried about the time that we're on right now. I don't think we're probably going to get to 2021. So I think what we'll do is we'll finish 2020. Yeah. We'll talk over Doctor Who, and we'll also discuss that movie that we missed off last time. And we'll have to come back for a part 3 for 2021.
Crikey! What a surprise!
Yes, I know.
Us overrunning. That's not
unbelievable.
Like us.
I know. Well, I'm trying to keep us down on a decent time scale now. No more 4-hour epic episodes, I'm afraid. Okay, so I'm going to go on to a movie which came out on Christmas Day on Disney Plus, which was Soul.
I've not seen that, but I
was going to say, from the deafening silence there, it looks like I was the only person who watched this.
Yeah, so it's like I said last episode. I've just have this massive backlog of Pixar movies as well.
It came out less than 12 months ago.
I know.
How could it be a massive backlog?
Yeah, but I've not seen Inside Out, so that's how far back I need to go on Pixar. Dude,
seriously, I watched that movie the other day for like the 18th time. It's great. Oh God.
Anyway. Yeah, I've seen Inside Out.
I enjoyed Soul. Give it a go. It's basically a nice double bill with Inside Out. Actually, it would work.
I was going to say I've heard really good things about Soul. I just haven't had a chance to watch it because Connor's in that age range where he doesn't want to watch that kind of thing anymore. So it's just been me trying to find the time to watch it myself.
It's probably a movie that you would appreciate more than Connor, because it's all about music, and music being like food for the soul and what have you. Anyway, it's all about finding your purpose in life, which is good. And one last movie that I wanted to cover, but again, I'm probably doubting that you will have seen it, was Host on Shudder.
I haven't, but again, that's another one that I've heard good things about. It's one of those
movies that was shot entirely over Zoom. Each of the actors was quarantined from each other. They never met throughout the entire filming. They were given. Everything was done via like Zoom calls and everything. The director just dropped off a box on their doorstep and said, "Here's your things that you'll need for the scenes. Get on Zoom and I'll direct you from there." And usually it was done on like a phone call or something like that, or maybe another camera that they might have had set up out of shot. And they just went. And the entire movie, I say, it's really well done for what it is.
It's fucking impressive. It was
recently voted one of the scariest movies of all time on a poll that was conducted by Shudder, so make of that what you will. But yeah, it's really good. It's all about basically a seance conducted over Zoom.
The one thing you have to say about lockdown and 2020, it forced people to be very, very creative in
Absolutely.
ways of telling stories in a new way, or even if they wanted to tell it in an old way, how do you create that story in the old way under lockdown and people being so far apart and things like that. There's a film I think we may or may not mention because it's like straight to streaming or straight to video or something. Will Wheaton's in it, and his role was entirely pretty much him sat in a room on his own because he's basically playing he's playing a character who's a videotape. I think right. that's the concept. I'll look it up because we can talk about it another time because it's another one that's on the box sitting there waiting for me to watch it, and it just really sort of tickles my fancy, as it were.
Fair enough. Well, that's all the movies that I've got for 2020. Is there anything that I've missed that you want to talk about?
Enola Holmes. You skipped Enola Holmes, which was definitely. I saw it.
It was okay. It wasn't anything that particularly stood out to me. I think she's great little actress. I say little. She's about 20 now. Helena Bonham Carter doing a Helen Bonham Carter thing. Superman just being Holmes, very stocky Holmes in a tight fitting suit. As you do. But other than that, it's just like, ooh, kooky Victorian adventures.
Weirdly, I saw parts of this the other day because they put it on at work. And like the bits that I saw, I was like, this looks like an interesting film. Oh, look, Helena Bonham Carter is in a film that's set in this period. What a surprise!
Like, and she's kooky. Wasn't there a movie called The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes' Younger Brother or something like that?
Smarter brother.
There you go. This is basically that. It's a remake. Except it's not.
It's not.
It's an adaptation of a book that they were getting sued over because they used the character without asking. It's in the public domain, so they get away with it.
But the thing is, the one you're thinking of was an actual out and out comedy, whereas this I mean, it's out and out comedy. It's based on a series of young adult novels. And
I know there was a whole controversy about them basically doing Sherlock Holmes books without the permission of the Conan Doyle estate, but because of copyright and stuff like that, they're allowed to do it. Whatever. At least ask permission first. All you got to do is just ask. That's it. They can't legally stop you, but at least get the blessing. Anyways, so if there's no other movies about 2020, then in that case, we will move on to discussing the latest episode of Doctor Who.
Ooh, diddly-dum, ooh-wee, Doctor Who news.
Okay, so Paul, take us through the first episode of Doctor Who, Flux, not the card game, the Halloween Apocalypse. I was in a play pantomime thing several years ago called the Christmas Apocalypse. So this is a prequel. That's what I'm looking at it as. Anyway, Paul, take it away.
The Halloween Apocalypse. Isn't it great to finally see Liverpool as Liverpool in Doctor Who?
Chibbers in it. He's got the cop there. He's got the Williamson tunnels.
It's only took him 22 episodes to get here. He's been concentrating on his life when he lived in Sheffield, and now he's come back to his roots.
There's two things missing. One, we don't have Sea Devils coming out of Crosby Beach, and two, we don't have the Iron Man turning it into Cybermen at Crosby Beach. Yet.
Who knows what we're going to get, because they packed so much into that first episode. I mean,
just little see. Here's a Sontaran. It's got nothing to do with the rest of the episode, but here's a Sontaran telling his mate he looks ugly.
Yeah. So lived next year I will have lived on Merseyside for 20 years, and I've never done the Williamson tunnels, and I've never actually sort of connected. Oh, the Williamson tunnels. They would make a good Doctor Who story.
Yeah.
Chibnall, you genius. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, they literally, if no one knows the story of the Mole of Edge Hill, as he was called, there was a guy who basically, to give people work while Liverpool was going through a really bad depression, recession, whatever, to give people work, this millionaire decided, I'm going to take a load of people, give them pickaxes and shovels, and tell them to build a load of tunnels under Liverpool for no reason. We're not going to put trains down there. We're not going to use them for any kind of service access or anything like that. We're just going to build tunnels to give people something to do. And this season of Doctor Who seems to be saying, but there was actually a secret excuse for them. And I've known about these tunnels for years. I grew up literally round the corner from pretty much where they are.
Yeah.
My dad's friend for the longest time owned a bar that was connected to the entrance to the visitors experience of where you can go into the actual tunnels and look around and stuff. Yeah, my sister actually had her 21st birthday in that bar, and the one and only time I've ever DJ'd at a party was at that bar as well.
Because as I was saying, next year it's going to be 20 years of me living on Merseyside. Kath and I have been talking. I'm going to write down a list of 20 things to do that I haven't done that I should have done in my 20 years living on Merseyside. So
if you
that's going on the
have
list.
like a kind of like bespoke tour of like geeky things and what have you, I can put you in touch with a mate of mine, Dave, who does tours around Liverpool. He mainly does like Beatles tours and LFC tours and what have you.
This is it. There's a lot of the Beatles stuff I've
tour.
never actually done, and
he will tailor make a tour to your specifications about what you want to discuss and see while you're here, and he'll do all that for you.
Yeah.
Are you saying you haven't been into the house of one of the Beatles and started murmuring? Put you in a fucking fish tank.
By the way, it's leave him alone. Leave him alone, man. Oh, you can actually see my head going on the camera now.
We've also got Weeping Angels kidnapping a girl.
What's the overall number of birds being Weeping Angels in the sky?
We've got the eunuch. We've got the eunuch from Game of Thrones on a space station. We've got the Doctor's greatest enemy, except she doesn't remember him.
Yep. That's par for the course with Doctor Who. You know what I mean? There's not a series goes by. It's just like
and his sister apparently. So we've got Swarm and Azure, and then in the end, the most important bit that got introduced though was
John May as the trick or treater. No, stand-up comedian John May as a trick or treater with eggs and a can of lager in his hand. Hey, you got sweets, lad? I actually got offered to go and see him in doing a stand-up show last weekend. My sister offered me tickets, but I couldn't make it.
Shame.
Yeah, he had a stand-up show in Liverpool.
John Bishop. Welcome to the Who universe. And
Witness his own John Bishop as Scouser. Okay. Oh, because you know what, like Liverpool and that, but I grew up 10-15 miles away. I'm not actually from Liverpool, you know, innit? La. Sod off. Fucking John Bishop. Fucking John Bishop, you fucking bitch. Anyway, right.
You know what? I like
because you know me. I'm dead Scouse me. I can see the life of bits from my fucking house. You can't. No, you can't. You can see the fucking Runcorn Bridge from your house.
Oh dear. Have we triggered you, Mike? Have you been triggered?
Anyway,
you know, I like Dan as a character. He
didn't grate on me as much as I thought he would. I do like the fact that every human has a dog alien that they're bonded to. You know, man's best friend.
Yes.
And when the Earth is about to be destroyed, the dogs come to save people. That's amazing.
Wait, what?
Calvinista.
Did you not watch it? Yeah,
No,
the kind of Chewbacca-looking guy from the trailer. He's actually like a humanoid dog, and each of these dog people is genetically bonded to a human on Earth. And when the Earth is in trouble, all the dog people come to save their human and take them to another planet to save them. Because man's best friend.
Woof.
That right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
He doesn't like his human, but he's duty bound to save him.
Yeah, I'm sure like I must have like spaced out for a few seconds there because like that I don't know how yeah, exactly. Like I just my brain can't comprehend how all these things are connected.
And that's that suspect is what a lot of people are having trouble with. There's because it's one big, massive adventure. There's a lot that's thrown at us in that first 50 minutes that doesn't pay off, and people aren't used to having quite that much.
I think if I watched the 50 minutes, I'd be fine. It's the fact that we covered it in 3.
There's so
it's
much
on iPlayer, so
which is why. Yeah, which is
I
why
think we're going to be seeing a lot more of
Liverpool.
We're going to be seeing a lot more of Liverpool throughout the series because I know they filmed a lot more places that weren't.
They didn't just film outside Anfield.
Oh no!
No.
I did think it was a little bit heavy-handed when it was just like Scousers, they're poor. Look at them at a food bank. Look at this man being so nice that he won't take food for himself. Look at him being so nice that he's giving free tours around a museum to people because he's so nice. He's so nice. Look at him. No food in his cupboard, but he's giving sweets to the kids. He's so nice. He's so nice. No.
It was kind of bizarre having that scene at the Museum of Liverpool because I'd literally just stood in that spot like 2 days beforehand. I'd gone for a.
You don't open those side doors there, so I don't know.
No. Yeah, that I noticed.
Yeah.
On a rating of 1 to 51st state, how do we feel about the geography of Liverpool in Doctor Who?
Well, in as much as that street that he lives on isn't in Liverpool. There is no street with that geography in Liverpool. Not one that looks like that anyway. That's clearly somewhere in Cardiff. Just with CGI.
We've talked about everything but our stars, though. I still rate Jodie. Jodie is the Doctor. I love Jodie. Jodie is the Doctor. She's brilliant.
Jodie.
Like I said, I haven't seen this new one, but like in all the previous season, I did quite enjoy her.
Yeah, she's okay. I think she's been let down by some of the stories that she's had.
Yeah,
but I think hopefully this season, with it being all written by Chibbers, every episode is written by Chris Chibnall. So he's got complete. Oh, sorry, except one. What he co-wrote.
He co-wrote episode 4 with Maxine Alderton. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but he's basically had a finger in a pie of every episode. So it's basically, I think, their previous experience on Broadchurch of taking one story and expanding that out across the 6. I think that's really going to come in handy for me. I think people are really going to see what Jodie is capable of, and it's going to cement her as a good Doctor in a lot of people's eyes. Because I know a lot of people either A, don't like it because the stories she's had are a bit cack, or some people are still just stuck in the past. Oh, it hasn't been good since Billy Hartnell left. They were kind of a woman as a Doctor. My dear boy, no, women, no. But you know what I mean? It's the Doctor. Doesn't matter. It's a freaking alien a shape-shifting alien in a time-traveling police box. Doesn't really matter if it's a man or a woman. That's the one.
Radio Merseyside had me on Monday,
or other
just to talk about the series coming to Liverpool and that, and I trotted out the old adage about Doctor Who is an actor-proof role. It's not to say anybody can play the role. It's that whoever is good enough to play the role will bring something of themselves, something unique to the role. And Jodie definitely does that.
It's a sword and a stone. Only certain people can take that sword out, but once you do, you're going to do magical things with it.
Absolutely.
And everyone has to find their magical thing to do. Yeah. And I think this season is going to be her chance. She's had some decent episodes up to now, but I think this episode in and of itself, this is the one.
And
this season.
Like
still loving her matey relationship with Yaz, with Mandip Gill.
Yeah, she I could have done without the whole remember when we were on the gymnastics planet and let's do that. I could have done without that, but I get it. That's kind of where her character has been up to now, and you need to kind of put that into the new episode and then let the new episode take itself off from there.
Yeah.
I get it.
I do like talking about like because you've both been saying like, oh, it's interesting to see Liverpool and stuff. Obviously, like with you being it's interesting to see over these past couple of like the last series and now going into the new series, how it's touching on where like all three of us like
Sheffield
are familiar. So like I'm based in Sheffield, so last season the first episode where they were fighting, and I was like, hey, I drive past there on the way to Meadowhall and shit like that, and like and the fact that I didn't really realize that Jodie is from Huddersfield, which is the
Huddersfield.
Which is the other place that I've lived for the most of my life.
That's where my middle son has been at university, Huddersfield.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Huddersfield.
He got
Huddersfield. That's where I did.
See, here's what he managed to do during lockdown. He got a first, and he's moving on. He's moving on to do his masters.
Did he get seen by Patrick Stewart?
I didn't think of that.
Graduated. Yeah. Because that's I remember Abby mentioning that was the one thing about Huddersfield Uni that she was really annoyed about, because she did drama in uni and went through it, and every single year the people who graduated got met Patrick Stewart because he works for the University of Huddersfield.
He's
when it
like
finally
their
got
honorary dean or something, isn't he?
Yeah. When it finally got to her year, he wasn't there because he was busy filming one of the X-Men films. So she was like, "God damn it!" Sidetrack. Sorry.
It was complete. It was the middle of lockdown, and they just happened. And it was March that they came and filmed in town, and theoretically I could have got over, but I was also working late that week, so it just
I did try, but I missed them by about 20 minutes apparently.
I had fucking Jodie Comer filming literally on my doorstep
from where I used to live.
Yes,
literally, I used to go to that co-op every day. And but that's another show that was on Channel 4 recently. You get a show called Help. I'm sure you would have seen it.
Jodie Comer, Stephen Graham, and
I've seen clips of it. The one with the guy
one about working in a care home.
That's my fucking co-op.
We've driven past that.
Yeah, part of me is like, I don't really need to watch it because I've lived the experience.
Well, yeah,
but
my mother-in-law, she is a carer as well, and we watched it with her, and she was just like, it rings. A lot of it rings true.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Well, we will discuss the next episode of Doctor Who when we reconvene for part 3 of movies that we haven't talked about.
I will make sure to watch this episode and the next episode as well for them.
Sorry.
I will make sure to watch this episode that's just been, as well as the next episode for them.
Next episode, the Sontaran War, or War of the
Sontarans, to be followed by Once Upon Time.
Ooh. Well, the Sontarans have the old design, which is interesting. The design that was patterned on someone who may be sitting in this very Zoom.
Yes.
Yes. That took you a minute, didn't it?
Wait, hold on. What?
Took you a minute, indeed, yeah. Yes.
But
anyway,
I think less said about BBV at the moment, the better.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, on that bombshell, we will leave the episode there for this week. I would like to thank the fantastic Mr. Movie Timelines himself, Josh, for jumping in earlier and giving us his view on some movies. We will try and get him back on soon to go over more about what his channel does, who he is, his background, his movie, and everything else. Definitely check out his channel, Movie Timelines, on the YouTubes. I was about to say I'll link to his Twitter, but I don't think he actually has one. So I'll point people towards his direction on Facebook, Twitter, etc. Okay, so speaking of Twitter, we've got a Twitter. It's at 50footnerds. That's FIFTY_FOOTNERDS. You can tweet us there, or you can contact me personally. My Twitter is at Mike G Bell.
Mine, I've got 2. I've got at Amara Lunera and at Volts of Extoff.
I've only got the one, but it's still at Auton Scouser.
We've got a website. You can visit us on the web at 50footnerds.co.uk. That's FIFTYFOOTNERDS.co.uk. It's got an archive of every episode that we've ever released. So if you want to take a look through our back catalogue, you're more than welcome to do so there.
We're sorry. We're so sorry. We're so fucking sorry.
We've got YouTube's, which is video.50footnerds.co.uk, or just search 50footnerds on YouTube, or it's just YouTube.com.
I need to start putting shit back on there again. Like quite a lot of it is me and my mate Zan fucking around with shit. Like
it's okay.
Yeah,
we've got a Facebook. go and like us there. Send us comments, messages, whatever you want. It's facebook.com/Attack of the 50 Foot Nerds for the 4 people who are left using Facebook. Or you can just email us direct if you want. That's 50footnerds@gmail.com, FIFTY_FOOTNERDS@gmail.com. But most importantly, if you like the show, if you like what you do, if you want to say hi, you want to throw a tip our way, you're more than welcome to do so. We've got this Patreon at patreon.com/50footnerds. Donations can start from anything from £1 upwards, or is it $1 upwards? I forget which.
Anyway, it's the Americans, isn't it? So
it's $1 upwards, and that gets you access to everything on the Patreon, everything that we've done, everything that we will do. It gives you an exclusive link to a feed where you'll get all early access to all of our episodes. You get them a day before everyone else on the main feed.
We are remarkably cheap.
We very much so. Well, as I say, it starts at $1. If you want to be generous and give us more, then by all means, feel free to do so. We'd like it if you do. There's also going to be extra things up on there. There'll be, obviously, you can contact us direct on there if there's something that you don't want to put on Twitter. We're going to be having extra content extra content on there. Yeah. We're going to be obviously putting things up early, as I've mentioned. We'll be doing videos on there. We'll be doing live streams where we've got enough people to be active on the live streams. We'll be possibly even live streaming the episode as we record it as well for our patrons. So if you want to be part of the crew, then by all means.
We're going live.
Yes.
We'll do it live. Fuck it.
We'll do it live. Yeah, fuck it, we'll do it live. So that's everything for this episode of the Attack of the 50 Foot Nerds. Until next time, I play Yaya Ding Dong.
I'm just confused.
And I'm Mr. Potato Head.
What? Oh, yeah.
Until next time, geek out.
Is your pulse racing? Do your toes curl? Is your temperature rising? I've got bad news, girl. You have the most beautiful face I've ever seen. But statistically, you've probably got COVID-19. So baby, stay the fuck away from me. I have a passion for distancing socially. And as much as I love you, I'm gonna keep upwind of you. Baby, stay the fuck away from me.
If you've enjoyed the nerddom in your ears, then please follow us on Twitter at 50footnerds, or email us anything except spam at 50footnerds@gmail.com. Marty, I've come back from the future, from when the 50-Foot Nerds talk about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. They were meant to talk about it on this episode, but they forgot. Damn idiots. Anyway, there's going to be on part 3 movies from 2021, even though the movie talking about a movie from 2019. It's time travel, Marty. Time travel.
To be contenders.